Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 5 of communication skills. This week, we're going to be talking about finding, evaluating research, and integrating it into your speech topic. The lesson this week covers chapters 7 and chapter 8, and I'm going to briefly touch on both chapters in this lecture. But you will be responsible for the material, all of the material that's in the two chapters, regardless of whether I mention it or not. So you need to be sure and go and read the chapters. This book is not real difficult to read. The chapters are pretty easy to understand, and so you shouldn't have a lot of difficulty working your way through them. And I will, before we give a midterm, I will give you some idea of the concepts that you need to have in your memory when you enter the midterm. For now, let's talk about Chapter 7. Chapter 7 has to do with finding and evaluating research. What distinguishes an effective speech from an ineffective speech? An effective speech integrates an array of relevant research in support of the speech maker's thesis. Good speakers discover, evaluate, and cite research to document their speech's content and to build their credibility. Research adds substance. It adds believability. It increases the impact of your speech. It's one thing to say you think this. It's another thing to say statistics exhibit this or establish this or show this to be true. That provides a level of authority that you don't get just by making a claim. Your speech is only as strong as the research and personal experience upon which it's based. Public speaking students frequently overlook the value of primary research, that realm of personal experience, that realm of surveys and interviews with credible sources that you can do firsthand, collecting firsthand data. Listen, if you have experience with a topic that is important to you, and that topic is a speech topic for you, that experience that you have will be valuable. It will greatly increase your credibility with your audience. Now, you'll still have to supplement it with additional research from outside of your own personal experience, but if you have experience, it will enhance your credibility with your audience. Now, that's not to suggest that you shouldn't speak about a topic that you don't have experience with. It's not to say that you have to live in poverty in order to speak on poverty. That's not the fact at all. But it does emphasize to you that your personal experiences have value to you as a source of verifying the claims that you're making in a speech. And so if it's a simple speech about how to make the best peanut butter and jelly sandwich, your personal experience with different kinds of peanut butter has a bearing on that speech. And you can go through and say, I tried Jiffy and I tried Peter Pan and I tried Nutty and I tried Creamy and all that. And these are the reasons why I've discounted these and the reasons why this one is superior. That's personal experience. You cannot discount the value of personal experience. However, personal experience is rarely enough to establish your point. If you are able to draw on personal experience, that's great, but you also need to be able to draw on some other first-hand sources. You might consider interviewing someone who has specialized knowledge about the topic at hand, something that gives them insight into the topic. If you can, talk to individuals who other people will find to be credible on the topic. For instance, if you're giving a speech on dorm life, your personal experience, if you live in the dorm, is certainly a good resource. But the experience of others will help buttress your personal experience and help make your point. So you want to be sure and draw in the interviews with other people that you can get experience and anecdotal stories from and be able to integrate their experience with your experience to make your point. Now, if you were going to give a speech on the value of a strong academic program, then you also may be able to draw on your personal experience for that. You may be able to talk about your own interactions with academic programs and what you benefited from, or what benefit you derived from a strong academic program. But another credible and qualified source would be the academic dean. You could go to Dr. Runk and you could say, can you tell me what are the benefits of a strong academic program? And then when you're giving your speech, you can say, Dr. Runk, the academic dean of Urshan College, says that these are the primary benefits of a strong academic program. So you can draw from sources that have credibility, that your audience will believe what they're saying is pertinent to the topic at hand. Now, just because you conduct interviews with someone who is an expert in the field does not mean you don't need to conduct other kinds of research. But your interviews with primary sources can help you structure your research, can provide you with ideas and information that will help bring your speech alive and make it easy for folks to pay attention to you. If you're going to give an interview, you need to prepare for the interview. The first thing you need to do is put together a list of potential questions. Listen, good questions are open-ended questions, not simple yes or no questions. Those don't get you very far. Ask questions that are open-ended, that leave room for a response, that you want to get to what the other person thinks, not just an affirmation of what you think. Then when you're conducting the interview on the basis of the questions that you have, and your book talks about how you go about getting permission and all of that, and I'll let you read that in the book, but once you've gotten an agreement with a subject and you're sitting down for an interview, one thing you need to remember is to ask good follow-up questions. If you've got open-ended questions as your potential questions to ask, you need to also think through, before you ever get in the room, what might be some good follow-ups to that, so that whenever the individual gives you some information in that open-ended construct, you can further develop, you can probe for more information, you can reach a little deeper and get them to go a little deeper into the topic. Another thing you need to do during the course of your interview is verify what you think you're hearing by rephrasing it back to the person who you're interviewing. You may say, so what you're saying is, and say it, so that you make sure that at the end of the day, when you're giving your speech, you are correctly referencing this person or this individual's position on the topic. Be sure to take good notes, solid notes. If it's possible, record the interview. If they'll let you, and if you have the means to do it, make an audio recording where you can go back and listen to it again as you prepare your speech. When an interview is finished, the first thing you need to do after an interview is go back and review your notes immediately. Don't wait a day or 2 days or a week or a month. Go back immediately and review your notes while the interview is fresh in your mind. It's critical that if you don't have a recording, it is really critical that you go back and you right now, while you've got the thoughts in your mind, make sure that you understand what you've written and that it expresses what you've heard. So review your notes while the conversation is still fresh on your mind. If you have a recording, you may be able to do this again later on.